It's Tuesday, June 4th, and I've got a beautiful harvest of Ranunculus and Anemones.
Hi garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I am opening my Ranunculus and Anemones to get them soaked and hopefully get them started. And then I found a surprise. Some tulips I ordered that I completely forgot about, but that have somehow miraculously made it from being shipped to my house in October to now, which is March. Pretty unheard of. So I want to get those planted as well. Let me show you my plan. From the flower hat, I have several different ranunculus, and then to my surprise, I forgot completely about the tulips. So Slawa. This was one of my favorites. Is my absolute favorite from last year. It was so beautiful, but I'm not surprised. I just completely forgot about it. And miraculously, when I open up the bag, look at that growth and no mold. So I'm gonna put these babies into my front porch pots and see if they'll grow. And then some of these look not so great. This is Tulip Avignon Parrot, which was another one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
And drum roll, please, my favorite of the season, if you haven't noticed her already. Tall, beautiful, striking color, whimsical, a little texture, Avignon Parrot.
I think I did say that one was my favorite. And then Tulip Orca. That did not make it well, so that's okay. I'll take 3 out of 4 forgotten tulips. So I got those planted. I'm gonna do the slawas tomorrow because my hand was freezing and our dinner came and now it's dark. So I want to show you which ranunculus I have, and I'm gonna get those into a tub of water for 3 to 4 hours before I actually plant them into cell trays. First, we have from the Farmhouse Flower Farm with a beautiful, beautiful guide to growing and stunning pictures. Great thank you card. So the kinds I have here are Ranunculus Chocolate, Anemone Bordeaux, Anemone White, Ranunculus Salmon, and Ranunculus Tango. Then over here from the Flower Hat, another growing guide. Beautiful. I have Ranunculus Romance Maritime, Ranunculus Butterfly Musa, Ranunculus Butterfly Haze, Ranunculus Romance Scene, I don't know how to say that. But anyway, these 4 are all butterfly ranunculus, which for me have been trickier to grow. So I'm trying again. And then I'm supposed to have Ranunculus Super Green Brick, but I got sent another Ranunculus Salmon. So not a huge deal. Okay, the time has come. I can put my Ranunculus corms and anemone corms into some organza bags. I just save these from the deliveries I get, and I put a tag in the bag so I know which kind is which kind. So this is what they look like before, and then I'll put them into water and they should swell up. They are a little bit shrunken, but not too bad. I think they'll be just fine. So I've got a pitcher full of water. I'm going to put all of my varieties in here, or if I need to add another bowl, I will. And just have a little trickle, very little trickle. How do I get a little trickle? Not even, just like every once in a while, like that, to pour in there so that I have oxygenation in the water. Now I have definitely also soaked these for 3 to 4 hours without the dripping water, and they've been fine. So take that for what you will. And for your reference, this is what an anemone looks like. And then it will plump up a bit as well, too. So here we have butterfly ranunculus. I didn't get a chance to show you these before I put them in the water, but they're typically longer, although this variety is a little shorter. I just put them all together, but I have all the varieties that I told you. And I'm gonna put these in cell trays that are a little deeper. I haven't had great luck with butterfly ranunculus. I've had a couple bloom for me, but I'm hoping this year is a little better. And then in these bags, we're nice and plump, which is what I want. And this tag worked using a garden marker that does not come off of that plastic. So I can go ahead and keep track of which variety I'm growing of these. So what I've done is I've taken a cell tray and put some moistened soil about halfway up, and now I'll come in with my little tubers and put one in each cell, one of these. So this will go tendrils facing downward. This is where the growth comes from. Plant it in there, and then I'll come in with some more moistened soil and cover it up. This actually needs to have more water in it. This was from a day or so ago, so I need to put a little more. You definitely don't want it wet because you don't want mold, but you do want it to have some moisture to it. So I'm going to do that and fill these up. Now here is what my anemones look like. So I'm going to come into my tray and do the same thing. Pardon my snack. It kind of looks like a tooth. You're going to go tooth side down, just like that. All right, I just top this one off with some moist potting seed starting mix, and I'm going to actually put these in my fridge this year. You want someplace that's between 40 and 50 degrees, and that worked probably best out of anything I've tried in my house because my basement is heated. So I'm gonna do the same thing this year. Let's fill up these other trays. Next tray, got a bunch in here. So now adding the soil to top it off. These two trays are done. I'm trying something new with the butterfly ranunculus. I found this tray in the basement and it's a little deeper than regular cell trays, about that deep. So I'm gonna try these bigger butterfly ranunculus in here. Same thing, planting tentacles down, cover them back up with moist soil, and see if I have better results with the butterflies this year. Alrighty, now the butterfly ranunculus tray is ready. So I'm gonna take all three of these down to the basement fridge, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna use that tray to do the rest of these like I've done in the years past. Now with this method, I'm just gonna fill this whole tray with moistened potting soil or seed starting mix. If you haven't seen what I'm using the Espoma organic seed starter because that's what I have right now. I'm gonna fill up half the tray, pretty much like that, and then come in with my ranunculus and anemones that are left. Similarly to cell trays, putting the ranunculus in tentacle side down and pretty close together, just not touching, because if one molds, I don't want the others to mold. And anemones, I'm gonna go right in, tooth side down. So when I say tooth side down, I mean this side down. My fingers, my hands are so dirty, but you get the drill. And I'm gonna do the whole tray with what's left. All right, I fit all of them in here. Ooh, there's a baby. And so now I am ready to top them all with potting soil. So essentially this is another method you can use, is just put all of them in a tray with some potting soil and then cover them up instead of a cell tray. But I'm curious to see if I have better luck with the cell tray, because the difference is that these are so close together that if one molds, another one could be likely to mold, but that's why you do want to make sure they're not touching. So I don't know, I'm just curious to see. I'm still figuring out the whole ranunculus anemone game too. Okay everyone, so here is my downstairs fridge with all my ranunculus and anemones in here. I am so glad that this is done. I will put a temperature thermometer in there just so I can know what the temperature is for sure. But last year I think it was around 42 degrees, so that will work. So those ranunculus and anemones will stay there for the next couple weeks, more than likely. I will do my very best to check on them every day, checking to make sure the soil has not dried out completely and checking to make sure that there's no mold. If there is mold, remove the moldy ones so the other ones don't get infected. It's March 13th today, so 2 weeks from now will almost be April. If they are looking good and have some growth on them, I can go ahead and harden them off, which means slowly introduce them to outside because they are cool weather crops. So they do like the cold. They grow well in the cold. So it's not a problem to put them out before the last frost. Again, a reminder, I am zone 5B/6A. If you're in a zone, I think it's 7 and above, you can actually plant these in the fall and they will come up in the spring, but it's too cold here for me. So that's why I plant them out before the last frost. I did have some beautiful beds last year of these flowers and some beautiful arrangements. So it's definitely worth it, but I'm still figuring it all out. So I'm just showing you my process. I'll keep you updated as we go. Hi, garden gals and guys. It is April 10th. Yes, April 10th at 8:44 p.m. And I am going to give you an update on where things are at. I need to fertilize my Lisianthus. This will be the first time I'm doing that. And I need to check my ranunculus that I haven't checked since last week, which I should be checking them every few days. So don't be like me. Check them more often than once a week. Also, shout out to the Slinky Mania, my garden gal. She's a subscriber, has been a subscriber for a while, and I'm realizing I don't know your actual name, but she commented on my other channel's video literally as I was amping myself up on the couch. Go fertilize your Lisianthus, go film, go check your ranunculus. And then I see her comment asking how my garden was going. So it was like, you know, things have a way of working themselves out that I had a garden gal encouraging me and she didn't even know it. So thank you. Okay, let's go look at our stuff. By the way, my other channel is Tiny Finds Treasures because I am a very new part-time vintage reseller and I do love to thrift, but I keep the channel separate because not every garden gal or guy is into thrifting and not every thrifter is into gardening. So if you're interested in that, come on over, check it out. I would appreciate if you subscribe, but no pressure. Okay, back to plants. I'm so tired. Okay, here we go. Here are my Lisianthus. I'm gonna try and show you in the light so you can see. Overall, they're looking really good. I let them dry out just a little bit because I think some of them, especially in the light, are starting to look a little yellowish in the center. I don't know if that's showing on camera very well, but yellowing would be a sign of too much water, and I was gone out of town last week. So I gratefully had some people come over and water for me. Look at those beauties. Oh yeah. But I think now would be a good time to fertilize. So I let the soil dry out a bit. Lisianthus are okay with that. Some of it's still wet. I always put my finger in there to see how this one's yellow there. That's what I'm talking about. But I didn't water yesterday or the day before because it was pretty saturated. So I think today is a good time, and I'm gonna fertilize to help with that yellowing. The rest of my Lisianthus are down here, and these are looking good too. I'm happy with that. I'm also going to fertilize these. Now these to me don't look quite as yellow. That's one of the only ones I've lost. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. Pretty good. While we're down here, these are my Iceland poppies that honestly could be planted out anytime. These are extremely cold hardy and actually prefer to grow in the cold, so I should get them out instead of still in here, but all in good time. Then look at my snaps. There they are. They're coming in better. Took a second. Now, it's not as full as last year's tray. Last year's tray was absolutely lovely, but these are still pretty good. This is the tray I did with the Gonfrina. Nice deep green color. Loving that. And here's the last tray, which is the worst tray. What is this over here that didn't germinate for me? Monaco orange. I grew that one last year and I thought it was okay. Wow, not great. Yeah, definitely the worst for me, but that's okay. At least I have some, and this side did well. So this is Caney's Orange and Orleans Red, both of which are new for me. I haven't done this in a while. It's time for me to start my fan over these so they get a little acclimated to the wind, because really I can start to harden these off pretty much any time. I don't think we're gonna get a hard frost again, and then start to plant these out soon because I can always cover them with frost cloth. So yeah, I need to get the fan, which I have right here, going and hitting on these. This is the first time I've done this year, and it is so, what is the word, cathartic? Oh my gosh. This is why gardening is my happy place, my safe haven. Oh boy, do I need to go in there and thin that cell out. Woo-wee, there's like 5 girls in one cell. Yes, I have not done any thinning. Ideally, you should thin to 1 cell, but most of mine are just 1 per cell. So I've got a little work to do. Yeah, that one definitely needs to be thinned. Look at all those babes. Let's move to the middle row. This is what you saw me seeding earlier. We've got, what do we have? King size salmon straw flower here. So Germination. It's fine. This year, can you tell I'm like, whatever I can get, I'll take. With our twin girls being born last June, we're adapting as a family of 5, and that's okay. Grace over guilt, everybody. Grace over guilt. Iron blue stock right here. That really did poorly. Yuck. That's okay. Stock does smell unbelievable, and it's also very cold hardy. And then some Rudbeckia, Sahara Rudbeckia. Tell me I have more. Yeah, there's some little ones still germinating. That's good, because this is one of my favorite cut flowers. Over here, okay, Triloba Rudbeckia, we have at this end. I grew that for the first time last year. Loved it. Gets very big with little Rudbeckia yellow flowers. Nice filler. Really dainty looking. What is my dog barking at? Axie, what's going on? Did you see something? You're just gardening the house. Tell all the garden gals and guys you'll be making your debut in the garden in just a month or so. Get ready, everyone. That's my garden helper right there, along with my son, who only does it when he wants. Axel is always out there with me. Good boy. And then we've got more Sahara Rudbeckia at this end. So that all is looking pretty good. See how dry this is over here? I need to put more water on this side. When you see your soil blocks getting really dry like that, that needs to be watered. Then the Celosia Shimmer. That would be shimmer, like shine, shimmer like a diamond, something like that. This has grown really fast, germinated extremely fast. And I forget what I planted right here. It's something else. But I have Chief Persimmon Celosia down here, and those are looking good. So I'm glad to have that, because that's like a nice vertical type of bloom, which will be great in bouquets, and it also has a nice texture. Shout out to Nicole from Flower Hill Farm. I learned about Mrs. Burns lemon basil from her, and I decided to grow it this year. And I already know what she's talking about with this stellar, incredible, beautiful smell. They almost all germinated really wonderfully. I already thinned them. They're looking good, and they smell right away, because when I thinned them, I smelled like a lemony, beautiful scent. So this will add a little aroma, and I'm sure it's amazing in cooking too. So that's exciting, something new. And then back here, Chief Persimmon Celosia again. So really good germination on that. Okay, team, before I fertilize, there's a couple cells here that are still pretty damp, and I'm starting to get some algae. So what I'm gonna do is put some cinnamon on these cells because cinnamon helps fight algae before I fertilize, because when you're fertilizing, it does increase your chances of getting algae, which is not a big deal, but just on the ones that I notice are already pretty damp, I'm just going to put that in there to combat that. Word of warning, Neptune's fish fertilizer is excellent. It is beyond stinky. This is upstairs in my kitchenette area, and the next 3 days will smell like fish fertilizer, but my family just has to put up with it. And they do, because they love me. So if you don't want the main part of your house to smell like fish, I highly recommend not fertilizing in that area. But there's no way I'm moving all these trays down to the basement and setting that up. Follow the directions on the back of what you're using it for. I'm using the outdoor plants one. I'll probably use just a little less than 1/8 of a cup because these are still young seedlings and I don't want to burn them. Too much fertilizer would burn them. But this is going to be better than the seed germination, I think. So I'm following those directions. Please follow whichever you're doing. You can use it on house plants. You can use it as a compost enhancer, seed germination, etc. You get the drill. Read the directions. I'm also going to use it as a foliar feed, which means I am feeding the foliage. So I'm using one of my spray cans and I'm gonna add the fertilizer in and then spray over the top of this, which I'll show you. So I'm not putting fertilizer in with water and bottom watering. I'm just doing the top. That's called a foliar feed. So I hope I did the math right, but I'm using about 0.8 tablespoons, so almost a full tablespoon for 1.5 liters of water. Yup, there it is. There it is. The things we do for our plants. Oh, it's been a while since I smelled you. Nice to smell you again. Not really, it's kind of disgusting, but I digress. I do recommend putting your fertilizer in and then adding your water. So my water was like down to here. I didn't want to waste it. So I put my fertilizer in and then I filled the rest up to 1.5 liters. That way it all kind of mixes itself up. Okay, here we go. Foliar feeding. Make it rain. Eat it up, babies. Eat it up. So what is fertilizing? Fertilizing is essentially feeding your seedlings. So especially something like Lisianthus will feed well off of it. You'll get a deep green color. It'll increase the health of your seedlings. Ideally, you can do it once a week, once every 2 weeks. Or if you're like me, you're lucky if you're doing it this one time, and that's okay too. But if you see your seedlings in a little bit of distress, and honestly, this is the only reason I'm probably doing it, otherwise I wouldn't take the time, it is a good idea to fertilize it as long as you're not burning or over fertilizing it. Do you love it? I hope so. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the rest of the Lisianthus trays. The other seedlings, I'm not going to fertilize. Am I? You know what? I have this. So things that are farther along, like the snapdragons, I'll foliar feed those. I might as well use it. Gomphrina's far enough along. The little seedlings I showed you, like the Rudbeckia and the Celosia, Mrs. Burns Lemon, I'm not going to do those yet because they're still so young. You don't want to start fertilizing until they're a bit grown on. Too young, and then it's like you're burning them because they're too, too young to handle that amount of nutrient, if you will. Let's look at this tray one more time. I love it. Really, you can make the analogy that fertilizing your seedlings is like feeding yourself. So if you're feeding yourself with good nutrients, you're gonna grow bigger, stronger, healthier. If you're not feeding yourself well with nutrients, then you're probably going to be a little less healthy. Now, that being said, is it a must to fertilize? No, I don't think it is a must. And there's other things people use as fertilizers, such as natural wool pellets that I've seen incorporated into soil blocks, and I've even done that myself last year, which is a great fertilizer as well. So there's different ways to do it, and that's also including if you just don't have time or your budget doesn't allow to buy fertilizer, don't freak out. But if you want your seedlings to be the best they can be, then yes, fertilizing would be ideal for sure. There are a couple cut flowers that don't like fertilizer, specifically zinnias. The less you do with zinnias, the better, really. Don't fertilize those. They don't like it. Ranunculus and Anemones do like fertilizer, so when I go down and check on mine, I'm probably going to use the same water. And when I say probably, I mean I definitely am. It's a party, girls. It's a party. I think, if I remember right, someone once commented on one of my videos, because, you know, I'm always talking to my seedlings. I think they said something like, plants are not male or female. Because when I'm out, especially in the summer, harvesting, I'm like, oh, hey, girl, look at that girl. Love you, girl. She's a beauty. You're real pretty. That's just my jam. That's me, 100%. So in my garden, we have babies, we have girls, we have all the things. Have I ever referred to any as gentlemen? Maybe like a really robust sunflower? I don't know. Point being, yes, I personify my plants, and I think that's okay. Because I'm not gonna stop. Oh, mama does need to come in and thin you girls out. I gotta thin these real quick. Surgeon at work here. Surgeon at work. Why is it important to thin seedlings? I'm going to educate as I work. Really, it's more of sharing knowledge. I'm not like a master educator or anything. It's important to thin your seedlings because if you have too many seedlings in one cell, whether it's in a cell tray that's plastic or soil blocks like I do, if you have a lot of seedlings growing in one cell, then all 5 of those seedlings are competing for nutrients, competing for water, competing for space to grow. So it's better, even though I know it's like torture to try and, I was gonna say decapitate, but that's probably a little cruel, to essentially stop the life of these little seedlings that you got to germinate. But it's so much better for the one, and you'll have such a healthier plant overall. I feel like I just made this really morbid, but my point being, it really is better to thin down to one plant. I forgot to put the cinnamon on my Lizzianthus. Okay, you girls look great. You smell fishy, which means you're fed. Feeling really good about this. This was a good idea to do these two. Great work, team. Oh, I didn't even do this tray. Get it together, Steph. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Oh, there's that one with 10 in one cell. Hold on, back to surgery. Gonna smell like a branzino when I go to bed. Okay, great. Let's go down and water and check our ranunculus and anemones. Moving on. I remembered another heavy feeder is sweet peas. Sweet peas love fertilizer. If you're growing sweet peas, highly recommend fertilizing. They just eat it up. Heading down to the basement to check ranunculus and anemones, which like to stay in a cool, dry place. So I have them in my basement fridge. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I'm not expecting, oh yeah! Look at this. That's one. I wasn't expecting to have green yet because I got mine started a little late. Oh, yes! Oh my gosh. These moment garden gals and guys are what I love growing cut flowers and gardening for. That's what I'm talking about. That is an anemone with roots for days, and it was already starting to push up through the soil. Huge success. Last time I checked on these, there were some of these anemones that were getting a little
borderline too wet / mushy, and I was worried they were starting to mold. But this looks fantastic. Oh, let's dig in for some more. Gosh, this is when all these times when you're really tired and just don't feel like putting some of the work in that goes in to growing cut flowers. Whew, these are the times that make it worth it. It looks pretty ugly, but this is such a magnificent sight. So good. Yes. Oh my gosh. This is from this next cell. That is what I'm talking about. Here's another one over here. So I know that one's growing. Let's dig in one that's not above the soil surface. Okay, yes, okay. I will take that. That's looking great. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, we did it. We did it. Here's the next one over, and this is still okay. There's not as many roots on it, but it still has some root growth, which are those little white things at the bottom. And then this is where it's going to keep growing from, and that looks really healthy. That is also a good sign. So it worked this year, guys. This worked. So I'm just gonna come in across the top and go all the way through all of these. I am gonna put the phone down so I can really do this because I want to make sure I do a good job, and it's kind of hard to film and do this at the same time, but just making sure that they get a nice drink of water. It's not like I want water to sit at the bottom, but giving them a good drink. Now this tray is the wild card tray, because this tray is where I have butterfly ranunculus, which are really big and beautiful, but I have not been very successful in growing. I am not the go-to person for butterfly ranunculus. I know a lot of you out there grow it much better than I, but I'm trying. Yeah, nothing there. I have gotten a couple blooms, and they really are beautiful. Yeah, I'm not seeing any growth, and they're moist, not moldy though. Oh, this, well, that's probably why, because this is likely a regular ranunculus. That one has growth. That one's good. Is that a little sign I see? I'm gonna hang on for hope that it is. But I'm gonna do the same thing with these, come in with that fertilizer all across the top. Now that I'm filthy, I'm gonna have to take my pants off before I go back upstairs. It's the next day after I filmed this video last night, and I didn't check the dahlia tubers. We've gotta check the dahlia tubers. I have not checked on them once, being honest, and the ones in the garage are completely shriveled up and did not work, which I should have known better. Let's check the tub in the basement and really cross our fingers. Dahlia tubers stored for 2024, for 2025. I thought I had one more. Maybe I didn't. Let's check this. Oh, I see something over here. Yes, oh my gosh. That's a good tuber. Really good, actually. Oh. Little discoloration, but I think it's okay. Yeah, I think that one's gonna be okay too. Good. Glory, glory, hallelujah. These are by far the best stored dahlias I've had since I've been doing cut flowers 4 years ago. And there's a little sprout coming at the top of that one. Now, did I do a good job labeling? No, I didn't, because I just laid these in here. But yes, I'm pretty sure this is my breakout one, and it looks good. Okay, this is a big win, and I'm not happy with myself that I didn't try to do more like this. All I did was vermiculate and laid them all in here. Tried to separate them so they weren't touching. Oh my gosh, these are so beautiful. So, so good. I'm pleased and extra happy because my favorite from last year, Sandia Summertime, is in good shape too. That is a big win. Well, that's a wrap. garden gals and guys, we did it. And big shout out to all of you who have subscribed over the years. And if you're new here, this is a little bit of an anomaly of a year, but I'm almost more grateful for it than ever, because I know when the summer comes, all these blooms and cut flowers that I grow will just bring me immense joy, will bring my children immense joy. It'll be the first year my twins are in the dirt and in the garden, and it'll be really special. So thank you to all of you for your encouragement and support on this journey, and kind of through the past couple of years that have been a little crazy. I don't know 100% sure if I would have kept growing on the scale that I'm growing and that I love so much if not for your support and your accountability and your encouragement. So I'm really grateful for all of you. Thank you. And that's an update on where I'm at this year as of April 10th, which is today. So if you enjoyed this video and if you're still here, oh, God bless you. Thank you. At this point in the video, because upstairs I was kind of losing my mind. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really does help my channel grow. No pun intended, or very intended. And if you haven't yet, remember to subscribe to follow along with all things garden. We'll see you all in the next one. Happy planting. Bye. Oh, don't forget to comment below and give me an update. How's everything going? How are we feeling? Season is ramping up. Last frost date is coming. Okay, bye.